Today's lesson is the power of rituals. Hi, everybody. My name is Roger.
And my name is Helen.
And today we're talking about rituals, and we're talking about the fact that they are powerful. They can help you with your life. They help you deal with stress. They help you deal with grief and things like that. Now, last time, of course, we gave you some examples of how people deal with stress. What does Nadal do before a match, Helen?
Well, we talked about the fact that he took cold showers and he listened to music right before a match so that he could have his senses sharpened before the match so that he could try to beat his opponent. And also we looked at Beyonce and her ritual before she goes on stage.
Right, and we also talked about some religious rituals or cultural rituals that people go through when they deal with the stress of losing someone. So Hindus will shave their heads to deal with the loss of someone close to them, and Jewish men will grow out their beards in order to deal with the stress of losing someone close to them as well. So let's talk about some other instances of rituals in today's lesson. So let's get to it. Let's listen to the first part and how we can deal with stress related to work, with school, and stuff like that.
Besides high-pressure tasks and the experience of loss, another stress-inducing scenario is boredom.A common feature of modern life. Boredom may arise from the daily grind, doing the same things day in and day out. Even here, rituals can help manage your mood and improve your overall well-being.
各位好，第一部分我们看到片语 day in and day out， 指日复一日或是天天的，像是Bob works day in and day out to pay for his kids' education. Bob 日复一日的工作，供孩子读书。或是 The call center needs to be staffed day in and day out as calls are always coming in. 客服中心需要天天配置员工，因为不断有电话打进来。
So when we think of stress, we usually think of a lot of things that we have to do that we don't have enough time to do, and maybe they're making us feel very anxious and excited. But actually, stress can also be caused by boredom. So it says here in the first line, besides high-pressure tasks and the experience of loss, another stress-inducing scenario is boredom, a common feature of modern life. So first of all, the word scenario here, it means a situation that hasn't happened yet, but it could happen. It's common enough to happen any day, any time. So one scenario in life is that you feel boredom. And boredom is the feeling that you're doing the same things every day, and this habit of doing the same things every day is giving you dissatisfaction, or it's making you feel bad, giving you negative feelings because there is never anything exciting or different happening in your life.
Right, so boredom occurs when boring things make you feel bored. So remember here, boredom is the situation, and boring describes something as being boring, something that is just not exciting, and then your feeling is bored. You feel bored because of a boring thing. So, of course, we could probably all complain that our lives are boring because we go to school every day and it's the same thing over and over. The teacher tells us the same things over and over. Our classmates tell the same stories over and over again. Oh, it's so boring. So, of course, that's a common feature of modern life. And here it says boredom may arise from the daily grind. Your daily grind, of course, is doing the same things day in and day out, day after day of the same thing. So we've got the word grind here. As a verb, it refers to something like taking coffee beans and grinding them so they're into a powder so that you can make coffee. But here, grind is being used as a noun. it just refers to your boring daily life, the daily grind, the same thing over and over again.
That's right. And the fact that you have to do it day in and day out, which means you do it every day for a long time, this could be very stressful because in the end, you're suffering from boredom. So you're bored with your life. Your life is boring. Therefore, you are under a lot of stress because of the boredom that you experience every day. But there are ways to feel better even though your life is full of a lot of tasks that you don't feel like doing. There are things that you can do to make these tasks appear more interesting.
Yeah, there are things that you can do to make your life more exciting and not so boring. So even here, rituals can help manage your mood and improve your overall well-being. Overall just means general. It includes all areas of your well-being, your health and stuff like that. So it's good for your body, it's good for your mind, it's good for your spirit, etc., etc. So yeah, that might be surprising. These rituals can actually help you out. So let's find out what some of those rituals are in the next part of our lesson. Let's listen.
You can begin by focusing on those activities that form the backbone of your day, such as eating breakfast, commuting, or going to bed. Even though these activities may seem boring, they have the potential to carry deeper meaning if you turn them into rituals. For example, instead of gulping down your breakfast, ritualize this meal by slowing down and savoring each bite. You could even do something idiosyncratic, such as chewing each bite a specific number of times before swallowing it. At night, rather than getting into bed and looking at your phone until your eyes feel heavy, think of one nice or interesting thing that happened to you that day and write it down in a notebook. Pretty soon you'll realize your life isn't so boring after all.
第二部分我们看到名词 backbone， 指支柱或是脊柱。例如 Our similar sense of humor is the backbone of this relationship. 我们相似的幽默感是这段关系的基础。或是 The massive data centers serve as the backbone of the multinational search engine. 这些大型数据中心为此跨国搜寻引擎的支柱。再来我们看到单字 commute， 这个字是动词，意思是通勤、上下班往返。举例来说 Eddie commutes to work by riding the MRT. Eddie 搭捷运通勤上班。或是 It takes me about half an hour to commute to class each morning. 我每天早上要花大约半个小时的时间通勤上课。另外，在这个字的字尾加上 r 就变成了名词 commuter， 指通勤者。例如 Due to road construction projects, commuters are advised to leave their homes earlier than usual. 由于道路施工，建议通勤者们比平常早一点出门。也可以说 Many of the commuters on the train sleep on their way to work in the morning. 许多火车通勤族在早上去上班的路上睡觉。接下来我们看到片语 gulp down 接名词，意思是狼吞虎咽的吃点点点，或是大口的吃喝什么。像是 You shouldn't gulp down your food because it's not healthy to eat so fast. 你不应该狼吞虎咽的吃东西，因为吃太快对健康不好。或者 The thirsty boy gulped down a large glass of water. 那名口渴的男孩大口喝下一大杯的水。最后我们看到单字 idiosyncratic， 这个字是形容词，指乖僻的或是怪异的。例如 The boy is very idiosyncratic and quiet. I've never heard a word from him. 那位男孩非常乖僻且安静，我从没听过他说一个字。或是 The artist is known for her idiosyncratic style of painting. 那名艺术家以他怪异的绘画风格闻名。另外补充这个字的名词 idiosyncrasy， 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 意思是某人特有的癖好、嗜好或是物品的特征。像是 Jack's special idiosyncrasy is memorizing the name of every MRT station. Jack 的特殊嗜好是记住每个捷运站的站名。或者 The biggest idiosyncrasy of this laptop is its advanced system. 这台笔记型电脑最大的特征是它拥有最先进的系统。
So now we're going to look at some rituals that will make your life more interesting, more exciting, and less of a daily grind. You can begin by focusing on those activities that form the backbone of your day, such as eating breakfast, commuting, or going to bed. So the word backbone here usually means the row of small bones that goes down the middle of your back. So those are the bones that form your spine. That's the real meaning or the literal meaning of backbone. But you can also use it to mean the foundation or the supporting structure of something. So when you start your day, there are certain things that you do that form the foundation of your day, and that may include brushing your teeth, having breakfast, drinking coffee or tea in the morning. So you can focus on these activities that form the foundation of your day and turning them into rituals. And here we have a few examples of these activities, and they include eating breakfast, commuting, which means going to and from work, or going to bed. That's at the end of your day.
Another ritual might be taking a shower sometime during your day. I understand people here in Taiwan take their showers in the evening, whereas a lot of Westerners prefer to take them in the morning. I guess it gives you a feeling of feeling awake and stuff like that if you take your shower in the morning. So that's a ritual. And for me, of course, the ritual of the shower, of course, can be very boring, and having to shave and stuff like that is also very boring. So a lot of times when I take a shower, I practice my scale, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, stuff like that, because the sound echoes very well in the bathroom. But again, that's an example of a daily activity, and it's a ritual, so you want to make these things interesting. And commuting, of course, is a ritual that we all have to do pretty much every day when we go to and from school or to and from work.
That's right. And a lot of people, I've noticed when I commute, they usually spend that time looking at their smartphones and watching videos or TV series. But there are actually other things that you can do to make your commute more interesting. So even though these activities may seem boring, they have the potential to carry deeper meaning if you turn them into rituals. For example, instead of gulping down your breakfast, ritualize this meal by slowing down and savoring each bite. So often when we're in a hurry, we tend to eat our breakfast really fast, or we eat it on the go as we're walking to the bus station or as we are on the train or whatever. We don't really take the time to notice what we're eating and how the food tastes. So instead of gulping it down, to gulp down means to swallow something really quickly without chewing it very well. So instead of gulping down your breakfast, you can ritualize it or turn breakfast into a ritual by slowing down and savoring each bite. To savor means to enjoy an experience or an activity. So when you savor each bite, you're enjoying the flavor and the sensation of the food in your mouth with each bite.
Yeah, sometimes when I'm eating breakfast, if I have a fan tuan or a danbing for breakfast, I kind of imagine those things as being my prisoners. And then I'm actually going to torture them when I eat them. So I imagine that the fan tuan starts screaming in pain when I take a bite of the fan tuan. That's just sometimes what I do for fun. I'm not really that sadistic, but in any case, that's an example of trying to do something with a boring, repetitive task or ritual that you have to do every day.
Right. And going back to the phrase gulp down, so I mentioned before that it means to swallow something quickly, but it's also often used when you have to take medicine, when you have to take pills. For instance, if a pill is too big, it's easier to swallow it if you gulp it down with water. So to gulp down just means to swallow something big or swallow something with water in one gulp or at one time.
Exactly. And of course, sometimes I say chomp down something. It means the same thing, to eat something quickly. Or as my mother used to say, hey, Roger, don't gulp down your food or don't wolf it down. Take your time and enjoy your food. You don't need to be in such a hurry. So yeah, instead of gulping down your breakfast, ritualize this meal by slowing down and savoring each bite. So here we've got ritualize. Make it a ritual. Make it a special occasion for you to enjoy every day. Slow down and enjoy each bite. Savor each bite. So when you're eating something, you can savor the food instead of wolfing it down or gulping it down or chomping it down.
Right. You could even do something idiosyncratic, such as chewing each bite a specific number of times before swallowing it. So something that's idiosyncratic is unusual or strange. So I think I like Roger's idea better of pretending that his Fantuan is a monster that he has imprisoned and he is going to torture his food by eating it. That is definitely idiosyncratic. It's unusual or strange. You could do that, or you can count the number of times that you chew on a particular bite of your breakfast before swallowing it, which is maybe less exciting, but it might work better for people who like repetitive motions, who like to count, who like math.
Yep, they like repetitive things. So, of course, those are things that you do over and over again. I still like the idea of pretending I'm a dictator and I'm torturing those people, or that Fantuan, I am punishing them. But in this case, you can come up with some other ideas yourself for a way to enjoy your food. Now, at night, of course, rather than getting into bed and looking at your phone until your eyes feel heavy, think of one nice or interesting thing that happened to you that day and write it down in a notebook. Okay, so I think this sounds very familiar. We get into bed and, of course, maybe we're not quite tired enough to fall asleep. So one way to make yourself feel tired is to take out that phone and paw at the phone, swipe the screen and stuff like that. Eventually, your eyes will feel heavy and then you'll fall asleep. But instead of doing that, maybe you could try to remember your day. What interesting thing happened at work today? Oh, I remember when the secretary dropped the coffee pot on the floor and the glass splattered all over the place and everybody laughed and thought that was funny. Yes, that's something you can write down in your diary.
Right. And if you do that every day, pretty soon you'll realize your life isn't so boring after all. So it's all a matter of perception. It's all a matter of how you see things. If you don't notice the things in your life, then maybe you will think that your life is boring, nothing interesting ever happens. But if you look up, if you don't look at your phone all the time and you actually look around, you might realize that your life is very colorful. A lot of things are happening around you. You just need to be present and to interact, to engage with everything that's going on.
So there you have it, some suggestions on how to make your day more interesting and exciting. And even if your day already is pretty interesting and exciting, you can think of even more things to make your day seem exciting and not so boring. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Let's wrap things up now with the third part. We'll listen to it first.
The more you perform these rituals, the better you'll feel. So why not get started today?
So to conclude our lesson on the power of rituals, the final message that people can take away from this lesson is that the more you perform these rituals, the better you'll feel. So why not get started today? In other words, if you perform these rituals, and not just one or two, but you attach rituals to parts of your daily life that you consider to be boring, then you will feel better in the end as a result of performing these rituals. So if you do feel that there are certain areas of your life that could be improved, that could be more exciting, so why not get started today? You don't have to wait until tomorrow or next week. It's not something you have to prepare for. Just get started today.
Exactly. And as I said before, if you already have an exciting life, you can still make it even more exciting by coming up with some more rituals. And again, in this section here, we've got the pattern. The more something is the case, the more something else will happen as a result. So the more you do these rituals, the better your feel. The more you practice your shooting skills, the better your free throws will be when you play basketball, etc., etc. So, of course, we've got these examples, and I'm sure all of you are very excited about these examples, and you're thinking of some of your own ideas to make your lives more interesting and less boring and more exciting. So, yeah, we're asking the question, why not get started today? And you had a good decision here, a good choice by listening to our program, because anybody who listens to this program is going to have a very exciting day. But if you're feeling bored right now, here's someone who can alleviate your boredom, our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第二部分的第二句写到说 Even though these activities may seem boring, they have the potential to carry deeper meaning if you turn them into rituals. 即使这些活动可能看似无趣，但如果你将它们变成仪式，它们就有可能具有更深层的意义了。好，这边3个重点。第一个是文中它用到 even though，这个是 though 或是 although 的强调说法，表达即使、虽然、尽管。那它后面接的子句是在描述确定的状况或是已经发生的事实，强调说虽然这个某个情况成立了，可是还是有这样的结果发生。例如 Even though it rained, we still had fun at the amusement park. 尽管下雨，我们还是在游乐园玩得很开心。那顺便比较一下哦 Even if中文我们也是说即使就算怎么样，听起来好像跟 even though 意思差不多，可是要特别注意 even if 是 if 的强调说法，它后面接的那个子句是在描述某个条件或是假设情况，那这个情况不一定会成立哦。 even if 只是在强调说不管那个情况是否会成立，都不影响到结果。例如 Even if it rains tomorrow, we will still go to the amusement park. 就算明天下雨，我们还是会去游乐园。第二个重点是连缀动词 seem， 它表示似乎好像，这个字很常出现在文章课文里面哦。我们以下介绍几个常见的用法。第一个，你可以用 seem to be 加上名词或形容词，其中的 to be 可以省略。例如 The book seems to be interesting， 你也可以说 The book seems interesting， 这本书似乎很有趣。第二个用法，你可以用 seem to 加原形动词，像是 Everyone seemed to enjoy the show， 大家似乎都很喜欢这场表演。那如果你想把这个动词部分改成完成式 have 加 pp， 我们用 seem to have 加 pp， 则是表达似乎已经怎么样，用来只说这个动作或事情已经完成了。举例来说 They seem to have settled their differences， 他们似乎已经化解了彼此之间的分歧了。好，那第三个用法是 It seems that 主词加动词，像你可以说 It seems that Dave is the right person for the job， Dave 似乎是那份工作的最佳人选。好，再来看到下一个重点是 turn A into B， 表示将 A 变成 B， 我们也可以用被动语态 A be turned into B 来表达。我们造2个例句。 The witch turned the princess into a squirrel， 女巫把公主变成松鼠了。The old factory was turned into a museum， 那栋老旧工厂被变成了一间博物馆了。好，那么以上是今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天单字吧。
Scenario. What would you have done in that scenario? Boredom. Joe read comic books to relieve the boredom of his long flight. Grind. Leslie felt bored and burnt out from the daily grind of housework. Overall. My overall impression of Kelly is that she is smart and friendly. Well-being. For the sake of your well-being, you should consider taking a holiday. Commute. Mina lives in the suburbs and commutes to work every day.
Discussion starter starts now!
Okay, everybody, here's our discussion starter for today. And the question is, what are your daily rituals? Please describe them. If you don't have any, explain whether performing a daily ritual is something you'd like to try.
Well, in my case, drinking coffee is something that I do every morning without fail since it gives me the energy I need to start the day. And I have to make my coffee in a very specific way, so it's almost ritualistic. It's like a ritual because I need to heat my milk first, pour the milk into my mug, and then pour the coffee into the milk, and then add some boiling water so that it turns into an Americano latte. And if it's done in any different way, the coffee's not going to taste the same and I won't be happy.
Wow, that's a pretty exciting way to start your day with that fresh cup of coffee made with such care there, but I don't really have any daily rituals, but the idea of performing one sounds very interesting. It sounds very exciting. I've had a dull and boring life for many, many years. I think it's about time I started to get things to be really exciting. So yes, indeed, I will start with some of these rituals, and I'm sure my life will become really exciting from now on. Well, everyone, today's article has come to an end, and I sure hope you enjoyed reading along with us. I am Roger.
I'm Helen.
See you next time.